Welcome friends to Muskrat Links. Today we've got a super exciting video. We are going to be testing out the high COR Krank Fire X driver. Dad, let's go. We've got our driver right here. Are you ready to crack it open, Dad, and see what we got inside?
Yeah, let's bust it open. It came in the mail. Looks like it's in pretty good shape. Always a concern when you buy a golf club online. You see the box, how it's flexing there?
I do see that.
Every box always gets crushed a little bit, so you definitely want to make sure that it didn't get snapped in delivery.
That's true.
I hope not. It feels like it didn't. It still feels like one piece. So that's something you always worry about when you buy a driver, especially a driver, and get it shipped in the mail.
Yeah, that'll make for a really short video if it's cracked in half. But listen, we got our other shafter anyway. We might be able to test that later. So let's go ahead and
let's see
break
what
in.
We got. You know, I assume I'm getting a head cover. I don't know.
Maybe.
I assume I'm getting a
wrench.
A wrench to adjust the shafts. But
we shall see.
Yeah, we don't know. All right.
See what we got inside. Okay. I'll take the box out of here. Yep, wrench included in the kit.
A beautiful head cover, little plastic on here, which is nice.
Really pops.
I don't know if it's leather, but it feels really nice. Stitched on. It's the Formula Fire, so obviously fire flames.
That's right. What do we got under the head cover?
Feels really nice so far. So here we go.
Boom. Looking absolutely gorgeous. It's the Formula Fire X, as we talked about previously. It's looking great. You got the adjustments here with the nodules.
So you can set the different loft, or you can set the face angle open or close in some combination. This is the 10.5 that we got. This is for me.
Yep.
This is the old man club. This is not the club for you. This is for me.
Yep.
The idea being that the X model would fit my game, and you would just get the Pro model to fit your game and your club head speed. Maybe mom might get the double X.
Yep.
Or someone that, maybe me 10 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets the double.
Might be getting something else, but this is going to be perfect today. Hopefully we can go ahead and test this out just flat against your current driver, which is the Callaway Maverick, and then maybe we can even put the same shaft in each one to really put the club heads up against each other, not just see if we can upgrade your current driver, which I'd like to think it would be an upgrade. So
I think it will. I did get the Fujikura speeder shaft here, tour model, so this is not an upgraded shaft. I do have some upgraded shafts available. This is basically what an average person would just buy if you're looking to just get the standard model.
Let's take it to the garage and put some balls down range.
All right.
Let's go. Okay, Pop, so the big question is, why did we get this driver? What is special about this?
The reason is, you know, I have a little bit of knowledge about golf equipment, and
a lot.
I have a lot. So I was around when the COR rules were created, and there were many, many years before the titanium-headed drivers came out that they were just steel-headed club heads, and that was it. And you had a steel head, and that's what everybody played. And then when titanium came out, the heads got bigger, and all of a sudden, you could get a little spring in the face.
Yeah.
And everybody started thinking, oh, this is awesome. You know, people are hitting their drivers further, their average guy was hitting it further, pros are hitting it further. And then at a certain point, then the USGA or whomever, the governing bodies decided that, you know what, we need to put a limit on this. And they did. And so they put a limit on how much that face can spring when a golf ball comes in contact with it. And that's your COR.
Interrupting myself here for a second, guys. I went on to explain what COR and CT was in the video, but it took way too long, so I want to give you guys the quick version so we can get right back to the video. COR is coefficient of restitution, and CT is characteristic time. They both essentially measure the same thing, which is how springy the face of the golf club is. The coefficient of restitution test is actually a lot more accurate, but also a lot more complicated to set up than the characteristic time test. What the COR test actually does is it takes a golf ball, bounces it off a metal plate to see the velocity going at the plate and then the velocity after it bounces off the plate, and they use that information to kind of calibrate the golf ball. Then they shoot it at a club head, different places on the face, and measure its velocity before it hits the face and after it hits the face. So if it comes in at 100 miles per hour, hits the club face, and then leaves at 83 miles per hour, you've got a coefficient of restitution of 0.83, which is the current USGA and RNA limit. So that test is really good, but it takes a long time to set up. It's very accurate. It requires kind of a a special environment. So what they did is they came up with an easier test, which is basically just like a little half ball on a pendulum arm that kind of swings down and hits a club face. And then what they measure is how long that ball at the end of the pendulum, how long it stays in contact with the club face after it swings down and hits it, and that is the characteristic time. And then there's a limit on how long that ball can be in contact with the face, and this test is much easier to test, so that's what they use, you know, out on the course to test the drivers at these big events. So that's the difference between a coefficient of restitution and characteristic time.
Manufacturers have had the ability to make higher COR drivers. They just can't and then sell it because of the rules.
Yeah.
They could certainly make one. And I believe that, I want to say the Japanese tour had a higher COR ceiling at the time. And I did get a hold of one of those drivers once, and it did make a difference. And it absolutely made a difference. So I thought to myself, one of these days when I get a little bit older and I can't swing as fast, I'm gonna go searching for a high COR driver. So that's exactly what I did.
Today is the day. Several surgeries later, here we are.
If it gives me any kind of a trampoline effect that's more than my current driver, then it's a win.
Absolutely.
If I can just get 10 more yards, it's a win. So let's just see if I can get 10 more yards out of it.
Hey, listen, the website said 20 to 40. I'm looking for 25 more yards out of this thing, that's for sure.
We'll see what happens. We've got the simulator ready to go.
All right, let's go hit some shots.
Alrighty.
Now for the actual testing, guys. This is where the meat and potatoes can be had. So we're gonna do 3 tests here today. We're gonna do Dad's standard Maverick driver. We're gonna then do the crank driver. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the crank head, put it into the shaft of Dad's Callaway driver, and really do apples to apples, see if that head does in fact add 20 yards like the website claims. So I think we're gonna do 10 shots each, maybe take the best 8, and then make sure to stick around and watch to the end, because that's when we're gonna do the data analysis and really dig in and see what is so special about these high COR drivers and see if their claims are actually true or not. I have high hopes though.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, hit them straight, Pops. For all of our tests today, we're gonna be using the Vice Pro Plus, the Muskrat Lynx Edition ball, of course, here. So we're using this very same ball through all the tests, so that way we keep it consistent. All right, first up, we've got the Maverick. Let's go.
All right, here we go. First 10 with Callaway Maverick driver with the hazardous stock shaft from Callaway. I think that's about it. 242 is about what it is. So 2200 backspin, launch angle 12. Wow, it's about as good as it gets. The club head speed is inferred, right?
Yes, so yeah, one thing that's really important, the club head speed is not measured by the SkyTrack. It's basically just guessing based on all of the other data. The ball speed is measured, so that's gonna be an important one to look at today.
So the ball speed of 137, then it just says, okay, we think you had a club head speed of 93.
Yeah, you probably swung 93.
But it is important when you're looking, if you're on the Krank Golf website, that's really right in the zone for the model that we picked.
Yep.
So hopefully this works out.
I think it will.
Let's go. Yeah, this driver, I'm on my 2nd year. I've only had this maybe a year and a half. I typically don't mess around with a lot of equipment. I have clubs that are 20 years old. I hit just fine. When I hit it well, it goes well. When I hit it poorly, it goes poorly. In this particular case, there's a specific physical difference in the club head and the crank, and that's why I went that direction. So it's a pretty rare event when I buy a new club.
Yeah, crazy. Nice.
Yeah, all kind of in the same area. I think these will average out about the way they should. Felt a little thin again. Straightest drive.
Yeah.
I should get a prize for that one.
Nothing wrong with that. Low and spinny.
Low and spinny, 94, 130. So what have I topped out at? 137 was my highest so far. Felt pretty good. Pulled, but I mean, as far as the center of the face goes, I just think I was going for ball speed, 138, so I got my highest ball speed. But yeah, just kind of a little bit of a hook on it. I hope that's in the bottom couple and it gets rejected by the computer. That was not my best, but. So that'll work all day on the course. That's my game, son. Just staying down the middle and hit 4 irons in while you're hitting wedge. It's just the way it is.
I missed the green, you stick it to 5 feet. That's the game.
That's why we're good in scrambles.
Exactly.
It's my best yardage, I think, 249.
Yep, I think so.
All right, shot number 10 with the Callaway Maverick. See if we can be right in the butter zone of all the others. Have some good data. Not my best, but it's probably going to be in that area where it may or may not make the final cut. So what is it? How does it choose the 2 to reject out of 10?
I think it's based on dispersion.
So a combination of accuracy and distance?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'll let the computer think about it. You decide which 2 you don't want. Just know which ones I think I don't want.
Threat detected. Code red. Code red.
Callaway driver going out. Crank driver coming in. So it seemed like the average was somewhere around 240, 239, something like that, with a ball speed of 134, 135 in that area. So yeah, I'd like to start cracking 140 with ball speed. That would, to me, indicate right away absolute difference in this club. I don't think I could have swung much harder than I did. I don't normally swing very hard anyways. Let's see if I can get to 140 with the same swing I was just using and really see if they're gonna make a difference.
Let's do it.
So right away, I mean, as far as the look goes, I've got these black and red racing stripes on top. It just feels like I've got more going on right away. It might feel a little heavier. You know, we could check the swing weight. It might be a little heavier. I know the shaft is 1/4 of an inch longer than the Callaway. Not enough to be material. If it's an inch, inch and a half longer, it would definitely come into play, but 1/4 inch, not so much. Wrap style grip. I like the look of the shaft. Feels pretty good. Let's see how it plays, see how it sounds. Pretty straight. Very spinny. Very spinny, took distance off. 4,600, I don't think I hit any with the Callaway over 4,600. So I'm not really sure why that was. Maybe I'm just thinking differently, but that's why we're hitting 10. We'll average them out, see how it goes here. 52, that's interesting.
I mean, at this point, you have to think it's something with the shaft difference, right?
It absolutely could be, but that's why we have that combo test later.
Yeah.
But that could very well be. Could very well be. The face feels pretty good. I mean, it doesn't feel any real kind of strangeness on it. Feels pretty solid. Also doesn't feel like I've really connected yet either. So I've got a couple good ones still left in me. Come on now. Let's get out there. 137, it's better, for sure. Still waiting for a 140. Let's go. Pretty straight. That's still kind of my shot there, the 246. What was the longest I had with the Callaway?
249.
249?
Yep.
No snap hooks
Yep.
so far. I think I probably had at least 5 or 6 of the Callaways were kind of snappy. So right away, I kind of like the accuracy of it, just from that standpoint. But I want the ball speed. I paid for the ball speed. Give me the ball speed.
Let's see it.
And then I snap one. As soon as I mention it, then I snap it. Come on now. That felt really good. Felt really good. Give me something. Give me a 250. Give me a 250. Come on now. Not my furthest, but I think that is tied with my fastest. 140. Let's go. All right, shot 10. Didn't seem to be any real bad ones in there. I think about the same as the Callaway as far as the 2 that are gonna get rejected. Then the data doesn't lie. It's still pretty straight.
Yeah, I thought it was being
They're staying right on the line. Look at this.
face, maybe.
Yeah.
There we go.
So that's it for the crank. Now it's time to switch out the shaft. I think there might actually be a possibility that the Callaway shaft in the crank head could be the winner today.
That's what we're hoping for at this point.
So we're just gonna switch these out. Now I've never done this before on this crank head, so I wanna make sure that I don't lose the face angle and the loft configuration. I can't let that get loose on me. It's gotta go right back in the same exact spot. And by the way, I don't think you can just put any shaft in the crank head. The shaft adapter that's in here is good for Callaway. I actually asked the general manager on the phone, will it work with my Callaway? He says, oddly enough, it works with Callaway. So if you've got a TaylorMade or a Titleist or a Ping, it may not be a shaft swappable adapter for you. Couple more turns. Get the Callaway out. Freedom, freedom. All right, so we've got the Franken driver. We've got the Krank Fire X driver head with my Callaway hazardous shaft. That's the stock driver that is in my driver right now. So let's see if this combo brings us to the promised land.
Let's see those 140s. Let's go.
Come on, 140. I know you got it in you. Okay, number one with the combo driver. That felt pretty good. I don't know if I got all of it, but we'll see. In the ballpark, same sort of ballpark, maybe a little high in the face. Tee height is the number 2 tee height using for the whole time. Is it possible that if I went down 1 tee height, I get better results? Probably, but at least for consistency purposes, club for club, shaft for shaft, it's the same, so. Can't go home without a 140. I hope there's some 60-year-olds out there rooting for me on this.
I'm sure there's plenty.
Come on, let's go. That's the big number. Still not there yet. I mean, it's possible to get maximum distance with a 138. If the launch angle and the backspin is optimized, I could still get a 255 even with a 138. Come on now. Come on now. Oh. Hey, hey, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is, 141. We did it. We did it, finally.
A little low, a little spinny, but we got it.
Yeah, I mean, that thing, it was going like 241, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it just stopped on 8. It should have definitely rolled out to 250.
Wait, you get this at 13 degrees and like 2600. That's 265 drive.
That's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask. But so far, that's the biggest ball speed. If I were any good, I could just duplicate that.
Yeah, duplicate that.
Here we go. That's the number right there, 255.
That's a good shot.
Kept that spin under 3,000. Launch angle was great. Good ball speed. Hey, that's the best so far. Absolutely.
One to go.
Only one more to go. Either that or it just takes me 29 swings to loosen up. One more. Didn't crush it. Felt kind of normal. Typical shot.
Good drive. There we go.
Yeah.
Here we go, guys. Now is the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's take a look at this data and see how we did. So the first set was with Dad's just stock Maverick. We had a ball speed average of 134 miles per hour. Spin was basically perfect, about 2,500 spin through all those, in a total distance of 238 yards. And then if we go right to the stock Krank Fire X, you can see we actually gained 1 mile per hour on ball speed. We've got 135 to 134 there. But it was crazy spinning with the shaft that was in there. 4,000 versus 2,500, that's a huge difference. And then as a result, we've lost some distance as well because they were just super spinny. Is that something you kind of felt that was happening as you were swinging them out there, Pops?
It was really hard to feel during contact. This is exactly why everybody needs a launch monitor in the garage, because it obviously was slightly faster ball speed, but yet that backspin just sucked up all the distance and it ate it up. And I think with the right shaft, I could probably do better with the crank head, but that's what we have for next, is the combo. How did the combo come out?
And now for our combo. We've got the ball speed was the highest ball speed we've seen so far, 137 average, so we gained ball speed. Our spin rate was, again, a little bit high, but much lower than it was with just the crankshaft in there. That
Fujikura speeder, yeah.
So that was good to get those numbers down a little bit. And then, of course, our overall distance, 240, the highest we've seen there as well. So really, this is just kind of just a combination of finding the right one for the head to the shaft to your swing.
Absolutely. I mean, we didn't really tweak it much. We said, let's try the Krank driver against my Callaway driver. And then we just thought, well, you know what? Let's swap the shafts and just kind of really see if there's any difference in there. And there truly is. And it just shows even the slightest amount of tweaking, I got better results. And I think if we tweaked it a little bit more, we've got T height to play with.
Yep.
We've got the loft of the head we can play with. We've got the face angle to play with. And of course, virtually an infinite number of shafts to put in here.
Pretty much.
So I think we can tweak this out a little bit, and I think we can get to maybe a 138, 139 average of ball speed,
yep,
and maybe get an average distance of 245, 250, with just a little bit more tweaking.
Yep, and we did set our distance record there on that shot. We had a 140 ball speed shot with 2,900 backspin, got us out to 255. So we can definitely get that up over 260 if we just kind of tweak it a little more. But hey, that's why we go through these experiments. That's why we have so much fun here on the channel. So yeah, let's outro this video. Well, that is it for today's session here on the simulator. We had a lot of fun. And Dad, what did you think overall of the Formula Fire X from Krank?
Definitely has potential. Did I get 20 yards or 15 yards? No, I didn't get that kind of a distance, but it did show that with a little bit of tweaking and finding the right shaft, the greatest drive out there is still waiting for me.
Oh yeah.
If you're thinking about getting something like this, try some different shafts, and I know that you'll find one that'll work for you.
And I think we're gonna be taking this to maybe some Sim League action as well. Stay tuned for that though. Make sure you guys subscribe. Join the Muskrat Links golf team today. We've got so much cool stuff. And like I said, we've got some really fun stuff planned for this winter, including that Sim League with Pops. We'll see if we can go slam out there on the course. So be sure to stay tuned for that. I think that's gonna be it for me. Have fun out there, everyone.